Hi, welcome. So this video will show you a few exercises introducing you to a Pilates style of exercise. Now Pilates is a form of exercise really concentrating on your core strength, so the strength in the middle of your body to allow you to be able to move more efficiently. So the following video will show a variety of exercises at various levels, so suitable for all abilities and ages. Again, with any new exercise, take it nice and steady. You may want to watch the video to begin with and then give it a go. If you've got any questions, talk to your haemophilia centre and ask the physio for some advice. Take it nice and steady to start with and just work within your own limits. I'll talk about breathing flow, but don't worry about that to begin with. Just make sure you are breathing and not holding your breath. So for this video, you'll need a few bits of equipment. You'll need some space to be able to lie down. You can use an exercise mat, but if you haven't got one, you can use a blanket just to make it a little bit more comfortable. I'm using a yoga block, but you can use a cushion and you may want a small towel. I'll also give the option to use small hand weights when you want to make the exercises more difficult. So let's get going. So we'll start with a warm-up just to get our spine loosened up. So feet hip distance apart. We're just going to rock forward and back, just transferring the weight and bringing the weight across the big toe and little toe round and back to your heel. So you're moving around in a triangular movement. Just going to change direction. Keeping going corner to corner. And coming back to that start position. So you should have equal weight, big toe, little toe and heel. Knees are just relaxed, hands up onto your pelvis. So imagine the pelvis is like a top of a bucket and you're tipping water out of the front of the bucket and then out of the back of the bucket. So just pelvic tilt, nice and steady. Try and keep your ribs still, just isolating that movement to your low back and find that mid position. You should have a gentle curve in the small of your back. Think about those ribs down, your collarbones nice and wide, and your shoulder blades to just melt down your back, chin in, neck nice and long. So we'll just take a breath in to start. So breath in and out. And again, breath in and out. And last one and out. So thinking about that core on. And when I mean core, I want you to imagine you're stopping yourself going for a wee, just 20% effort. Bit of tension in that lower belly. So we're going to start with that shoulder roll, scoop down, big circle up and around, and again, so shoulder roll, scooping down, big circle up and around. So as you bend those knees, keep them parallel, stretching up, and we'll do one more. Nice big stretch, and changing size, so opposite shoulder roll. Scooping down, big circle up and around. And as before, keeping those knees parallel, stretching up, keeping going. Try and make that circle a little bit bigger each time. And we'll do one more. And coming back up to that start position, give those shoulders a bit of a shake. So the next exercise we'll do is roll down. So I want you to imagine your spine is like a chain with all the links. And I want us to curl down one link at a time. So we're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, drop your head, shoulders, ribs, peeling all the way down as far as you can go. Breath in. And as you breathe out, belly button in towards your spine, rolling up one bone at a time. Do that again. So breath in. As you breathe out, rolling down. So head, shoulders, ribs, peeling all the way down. Breath in, and as you breathe out, rolling back up. We'll do one more. So again, breath in. As you breathe out, each vertebrae down. And if you feel there's a stiffer section, just try and roll through. At the end, check your head's relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Breath in, and as you breathe out, rolling back up, one bone at a time. Well done. So we've warmed up our spine. We'll now come and lie down on the mat. So we'll start on the mat. So feet together to begin with. Start with your toes wide and then your heels behind your toes. So your feet are hip distance apart, toes facing forward, knees up towards the ceiling. So we'll come onto our pelvis just as we did standing up. I just want you to rock the pelvis forward and back. Imagine that bucket again, you're tipping water out of the back and then out of the front. And again, forward and back. So find that mid position. You just have a gentle curve in the small of your back. Think about that core, so pelvic floor, lower belly, just gently drawn in, 20% effort. Your ribs are relaxed. Your collarbones nice and wide, feeling those shoulder blades just glide down your back, chin in, neck nice and long. Now if you struggle with your head position, you can grab your little towel and pop it underneath your head just to support. So we'll start hip twist level 1. So breath in, as you breathe out, let the right leg fall away, breathing in to come back. Change to the left side, so let the leg fall away, breathing in to come back. And I'll run through the various levels and you can choose which level works for you. So level 1, letting that leg fall out. And a few things to think about. We're thinking about that tray of drinks across the hips. We're keeping our pelvis level. If you're not sure, you can pop your hands onto your hips. Just check they're all staying still. So level 1, sticking to that. Level 2, we're going to come up into tabletop. So 90 degrees hip and knee. We're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, again, let that leg fall away, coming back and replace. Change to the other side. So floating up, breath in. As you breathe out, fall away, breathing in to come back. So keep alternating, changing legs and a few watch points, keeping that pelvis still. Imagine you've got that tray of drinks still. Keeping going side to side. Just check what your hands are doing. Are you gripping your mat or digging in with your elbows? And just check your ribs are still soft, collarbones wide, and your chin in. So you can keep going side to side with that level 2, keeping the foot, knee and hip in line. So what we don't want is that movement. We want to keep the whole leg falling out. Or if you're feeling a bit stronger and you've done the exercise a few times, core on, and we're going to float that leg up into double tabletop. So really anchoring in that lower belly, and again letting one leg fall out, come back, change to the other side. So keeping going side to side. We'll do a few more repetitions. Just choose the level that you want to work at. You can mix and match the level. You don't have to stick at one. If you find that your back begins to arch, just drop back down so that foot is on the floor. So a few more. Good. And then bringing those knees in, just stretching your low back and bringing those feet back down onto that mat. Well done. So this second exercise is called the bridge. We're going to bring our heels in as near as we can to our bottom. Now I know some of you have limited ankles and knees range, so just do the best you can. So feet are hip distance apart, parallel. We're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, you're thinking about tightening that core, so pelvic floor, lower belly gently drawn in, and we're flattening that back. We're going to lift the tailbone, low back ribs coming up onto those shoulders, breath in. And as you breathe out, your breastbone rolls down first. So breastbone, ribs, low back, and then your pelvis. You can take a breath in. And as you breathe out, rolling up. So again, as I said at the beginning, don't worry about the breathing too much when you're just learning the exercises. Just make sure you are breathing and you're not holding your breath. So with the bridge, we're trying to roll through that spine again, each section in turn, controlling that lift and lower. And you may find it's a bit juddery as you roll down. That's fine. As you strengthen, that will smooth out. So rolling up and back down again. And again, the watch points, check you've got equal weight, big toe, little toe and heel. Your knees are staying parallel, they're not wafting around in the breeze. And your arms are just relaxed down onto the floor, not holding or gripping in. If you want to just check how much your arms are helping, rather than your bottom muscle, you can float those hands up towards the ceiling, and again, just rolling up and back down again. So level 1, this is where you'll stick, just lifting up and then rolling back down again. So if you want to add a little bit more challenge, you can roll up into that top bridge, squeezing your bottom muscles. Imagine you've got your tray of drinks again across your pelvis and just lifting one heel and replace. Again, depending on your ankle range, this will differ, but trying to keep that pelvis nice and square. You're not doing a wiggle side to side, keeping that still. Now, if that feels okay, you think, well, I'll give it a bit more effort, you can stretch that leg away. So again, breathing out to stretch, breathing in to come back. Now, with some of you whose knees don't bend very much, this will be quite tricky. Your hamstrings will be working very hard, but trying to squeeze your bottom muscles, keeping that pelvis level. So choosing which level. I'll run through those again. So you can stick to level 1, which is just rolling up and down. You can come into level 2, staying up into that lifted position, lifting a heel. Or you can come into the next level, extending that lower leg. So work at that level, keeping that pelvis still. And as ever, you can mix and match those levels, keeping that bottom lifted. We'll do a few more. Well done. Rolling back down to that start position. Well done, everyone. So this next exercise is called double arm stretch. So we're working arms and legs together. So we're going to start with floating those hands up towards the ceiling. Think about that core on. You've got feet parallel, gentle curve in the small of that back. So we'll take a breath in. As you breathe out, hands above the head, round in a D shape, coming back to the start position. So breathing out to stretch, breathing in to come back. So breathing out to stretch, breathing in to come back. So you watch points, keeping those feet parallel, knees staying still, that low back not moving, and the ribs are down. So what may happen is that as you bring those hands above the head, you lift the ribs. We don't want that. We want the ribs down, big circles. So level 1, you're sticking to this. Level 2, you can add in a leg stretch. So all we'll do is extend the leg and come back up. So breath in as you breathe out. Arms above your head, leg stretch, and coming back, changing direction. So the breathing for this, again, you're breathing out to stretch, breathing in to come back, breathing out to stretch, breathing in to come back. Imagine you've got that tray again across your hips, keeping that nice and level. So breathing out to stretch, breathing in to come back. Nice big circles. So the next level, we're going to add in tabletop. So bring one leg up into tabletop, belly button in, bring the other leg to join, floating those hands up. So again, stretching the arms, lengthening one leg. So breathing out and breathing in. Breathing out and breathing in. So keeping that middle drawn in. Don't let your tummy dome up. If you do feel that your back is arching, drop back down, bring that foot down onto the mat. A few more. Breathing out and breathing in. And again, out and breathing in. Last few. And as ever, you can mix and match the levels. You don't need to stick with one, and we'll make this the last one. And coming back down to that start position. If you want to make your arms work a little bit harder, you can use a little hand weight. So I've got 1 kilo weights here. You don't need specialist weights. You can use a can of beans, pint of milk, whatever, bag of sugar. So ribs down again. You're doing the same movements, but just making sure you're staying nice and smooth. Breathing out to stretch, breathing in to come down. Don't let gravity take effect and you whiz down. Controlling that movement, trying to get equal speed throughout. And you can run through all the levels with your hand weights. Well done. So the next exercise, knee rolls. This will just stretch our spine. So bringing your feet together, knees together. Stretch your arms out to shoulder height, so 90 degrees. And you may feel a nice stretch on the front of that chest. We're going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to let your knees roll to the left. So let your knees roll, then your hips, low back, head rolls away. We'll take a breath in. And as you breathe out, in reverse. So core on, rolling in, low back, hips, and then your knees. Well done. And again, so breath in. As you breathe out, roll into the opposite side. So knees, hips, low back, head rolls away. Breath in. And as you breathe out, rolling back up. So your low back first, hips, and then finally your knees. If you think about those knees feeling really heavy, those legs heavy, rolling over, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, rolling back up. So knees stuck together the whole time. So imagine you've got a 50 quid note between those knees, keeping them stuck. Breath in, and as you breathe out, rolling back up. And hopefully you'll feel yourself going a little bit further. One side may feel a lot easier than the other. Stretching away. Rolling back. And again. Try and stretch a little bit further. We'll do one more each side. So breath in as you breathe out, roll. Breath in to hold. And as you breathe out, rolling back up. Last one. Breathing out to roll, breath in. And as you breathe out again, rolling back up to that start position. Bringing those knees in and just rolling side to side and bringing those feet back to that start position. Well done. So we've now moved around into side lying. So just think about your position. Now you'll need your block or cushion just underneath that head, arm above, stretching away. If it feels too uncomfortable on your shoulder, you can bring your hand forward, but you'll need a few more cushions to support your head. So head into that position. Your knees are gently bent. To start with, have your feet, hips and shoulders all in line. Hand in front for a bit of balance, around belly button level. But I don't want you digging into the floor too much, just a hand light. Your waist is relaxed onto the mat, but I want you to think about drawing your waist away as your top hip stretches down, core on. So we'll take a breath in. As you breathe out, let the knee lift and lower. So you're breathing out and breathing in. So things to watch with this exercise, that your pelvis is staying still. Imagine you've got a skewer from one hip straight through to the other. You're keeping that level. So breathing out and breathing in. So we don't want you rolling back and forth. You're keeping that middle still. Lift and lower. And you're feeling that muscle work in that back pocket. Now, if you can't feel it there, you may want to just straighten your thighs slightly so your feet are behind you. And again, try the exercise again. So just working at whichever position works for you, and you can feel that muscle in that back pocket working. So stretching the knee up as high as you can and replace. And as ever, we're thinking about equal speed, lift and lower. So level 1, sticking to that. Level 2, we're going to lift the feet. So again, we're core on, just lift and lower. This time your feet are balanced. Your knee should be able to lift a little bit higher. And thinking about that position, you're not rolling your pelvis. So breathing out and breathing in. Breathing out and breathing in. Keeping going. Last few. You should be able to feel that muscle doing a little bit of work. Good. And then we're going to relax back down again. So we're going to do another set. So you can choose whether you do level 1 or 2. I'll come into level 2. So feet lifted, that core on, top knee lift and lower. So you're squeezing that knee up as high as you can, keeping that pelvis level, hand in front for a bit of balance. And just check that you haven't got your shoulder up by your ear. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Keeping going, lift and lower. Good, keeping going. Lovely, and relax back down again. So I'm going to show a third set of another higher level. Again, you can choose which level you want to do. So feet lifted, top knee lifted. So instead of lifting up and down, I'm going to keep the knee there. I'm going to stretch and tap. So 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go up to 8, 6, 7 and 8. Well done, and relax back down again. Give that muscle a bit of a rub. So the next exercise, side lift. So we're going to keep on our side, lift our waist like we did in the last one, but we're going to straighten our legs. So your feet, knees, hips and shoulders are all in line, and you're trying to stay in that balanced position. And to begin with, you can just try and balance, just keep that hand down, or you can try and float that hand up towards the ceiling and just try and keep that core on, nice balance. If you're feeling very wobbly, you can just bend that lower leg just for a little bit of support. So we start position, we're going to point the toe to lift, heel away to lower. So pointing the toe to lift, heel away to lower. And you're keeping your hip bones facing forwards as you lift. So top leg, lift and lower. Hand in front for a little bit of balance. Or you can float that hand up again for an extra challenge. If that's feeling quite fine, you can try straightening both legs so you haven't got as much support on the floor. And again, top knee lift and lower. Again, you can add in that arm lift, keeping that middle drawn in. Try not to dig in with that lower foot. Nice and relaxed. So again, keeping going. So choose your level, knee bent, knee straight. Keeping that core on, middle nice and still. And again, pointing and flexing your foot as much as your ankle will allow. So last few. Good. And relaxing back down. Bring that hand in front. You can just drop that top knee forward just to give that muscle a little bit of a stretch and lengthening out that lower leg. So holding that position. Think about that core gently drawn in, and you're going to lift that leg up and back down. So try and keep that middle still, inner thigh doing a little bit of work. A few more repetitions, keeping going. Good. We're going to keep the leg lifted now, pointing the toe. We're going to slide the leg forward and back. Forward and back. Try and keep the knee straight and the leg lifted up as far as you can. Good. Do a few more. Middle nice and still. And we'll do one more. Good, and relaxing back down. Well done. So we're going to go rolled onto our tummy and we're going to do an exercise called swimming. So rolling down flat. Think about that low back. So core on, your tailbone stretched down towards your feet and arms up above your head. So little fingers down, thumbs up, forehead resting on the mat. We're going to take a breath in. And as you breathe out, core on, lifting, right arm, and then relax back down. Changing to the other side. So breathing out and breathing in. So breathing out and breathing in. So resting that head down on the mat, just getting that arm up to ear height. Stretching up arms as long as you can, depending on your elbow movement. Lift and lower. Keeping your pelvis still, tailbone away. Lift and lower. A few more. Try and keep those shoulder blades gently drawn down your back. Good, and relax back down. Give those shoulders a roll. So we're going to go onto the bottom. You can rest your head onto your hands. Think about that tailbone stretched down again. First of all, I just want you to squeeze your bottom muscles and then relax. So again, squeeze and relax. This time I want you to keep the muscles squeezed, belly button drawn in, and just floating one leg up and relax. Change to the other side. So you're breathing out and breathing in, and breathing out and breathing in. Now, if you're struggling to even lift the leg and it's not a big movement, you can pop a cushion underneath your hips and lie on that, and it'll give you a little bit more range. So squeezing, opposite leg and relax. Squeeze and relax. Making sure you're squeezing your bottom muscle before you lift the leg, trying to keep the knees straight. We'll do a few more. And last one. Now we're going to combine those exercises. So arms out straight, head resting down on the floor. Think about that core on, tailbone away. Breath in. As you breathe out, opposite arm and leg stretch. And again, so breathing out to lift, into lower. Out to lift, into lower. So keeping going. Stretching. Keeping that neck long. Keeping going. Opposite arm to leg lift. Middle nice and still. Aiming just to get that arm about ear height. Leg just off the mat. Keeping that back still. A few more. Good. Last one. And relaxing back down. Well done. Give those shoulders a roll. Well done, everyone. So we're going to do our side series again on the opposite side now. So our start position, having your hand above your head, block underneath your head. Again, if you don't like this position for your shoulder, you can bring your hand forward, but you'll need a few more blocks or cushions to support that head. We're trying to get that nice spinal alignment straight through the body. So knees are just gently bent, feet in line with hips, in line with shoulders. Your waist is rested down on the mat at the moment. I want you to stretch the top hip down so your waist just lifts slightly off the mat. Hand in front for a bit of balance. So we'll come into CLAM level 1. So breath in. As you breathe out, top knee lift and lower. And again, lift and lower. And again, with the other side, we wanted to keep our pelvis stacked. So one hip on top of the other. Not letting yourself roll back. So again, top knee lift and lower. And you wanted to feel that muscle work in that back pocket. If you can't, just straighten your thighs slightly, feet behind you, and again, lift and lower. You may find you get a better contraction in that position. So we'll do a few more. Lifting up as high as you can and lowering, trying to get equal speed, lift and lower. Good, last few. So now we're going to come up into level 2. We're going to float those feet off the floor so we haven't got that support. And again, top knee lift and lower. So you'll find your knee goes a little bit higher. Feeling that muscle work in that back pocket. If it's not, fiddle around with that leg position until it does. Again, lift and lower. Keeping going, squeezing up. Good, and again, lift. Core on. If it feels too tricky, drop back to the level 1. Keeping going, last few. Well done, and relaxing back down. Now, if that feels okay, you can come up into the next level. If not, stick to level 1 or 2. So feet lifted, top knee high, and instead of lift and lower, we're going to stretch and tap. So keeping that core on. Again, hand in front for a bit of balance. We're going to do 8, so that's 4. 5, keep the knee high. 6, 7, and 8. Well done, relaxing that leg back down. Give that muscle a bit of a rub. Well done. So last exercise on our side lift. So starting with your knees just gently bent, lengthening that top leg. So our lower leg is there for a little bit of support, and we're going to point the toe to lift, heel away to lower. You're thinking about that core, staying nice and still. Again, keeping your line, not rolling back and forth. So you can have the hand in front for a little bit of balance, or you can float that hand up towards the ceiling just to challenge your balance. You're trying to keep yourself in a nice straight line, keeping that middle still, knee pointing forward. And again, flex and point the toe as much as you can. So arm up, or you can bring that hand down. Now, to make life a little bit more difficult, instead of having that lower leg bent, you can straighten. So again, you're trying to balance feet, knees, hips and shoulders all in line. And again, point and flex. So you lift and lower. Hand in front for a bit of balance. Pulling in that core, trying to balance. Good, keeping that knee pointing forward. Again, if you want more challenge, you can float that hand up towards the ceiling. Again, trying to balance. Try not to grip with that lower leg. Should be just relax on the mat. Lift and lower. You should feel the side of that leg. Doing a little bit of work now. Last few. Good. Well done. Working at your level, hand lifted or down in front. Last few. And relaxing back down. Well done. You can drop that knee down for a little bit of stretch. Give that muscle a rub, lengthening out that lower leg. Heel away if you can, toe up, lift, little squeezes. So keeping that middle still. Little squeezes, working that inner thigh. Again, you can have that hand in front, or you can rest on the side. Little squeezes. This time holding the leg up as high as you can, pointing the foot to fall forward, heel lead to come back. So just sliding forward and back, trying to keep the knee straight. Keeping going. Forward and back, keeping that core on. Forward and back. A few more. Keeping that middle still. And last few. And relaxing back down. Well done. Those are the exercise finished, and we'll move on to stretches. So we'll start with stretching onto our back, and we'll stretch our hamstrings, the muscles at the back of the leg, our bottom muscles, and just our low back. So we'll start with hamstring. So float the right leg up into tabletop and grab hold of the leg if you can, or your trousers, and you're trying to lengthen the leg up. So we want you to get a nice straight knee if you can, hands behind the leg, and lengthening the opposite leg along the mat. So don't worry if your knee's bent, but as long as you're feeling a stretch in the back of the hamstring. So breath in as you breathe out. See if you can bring the leg over your body a little bit more. And again, breath in as you breathe out, stretch. And again, try to lengthen that muscle, feeling the muscle work at the back of that thigh. On every out breath, see if you can just stretch a little bit further, holding that position. So while we're holding that hamstring stretch, we can point and flex the foot. Get that calf working, circling the foot one way, circling back the other, and come back to that midline. Really try and lengthen and straighten the knee a little bit more, pulling over, holding that stretch. Well done, and replacing that leg. So we'll start with the opposite side again. So floating up into tabletop, lengthen, grab hold of the back of the leg or your trousers, whichever works, and lengthening that opposite leg. So breath in as you breathe out, pulling that leg over your body. Try and get that nice straight knee, stretching in the back of that thigh. And just check what the upper body is doing. Keep that chin drawn in. Try not to have your chin pointing up. So lengthening the hamstring. Breath in on every out breath, stretching a little bit more. And again, pulling over. A little bit more. Holding that stretch. Now we're going to point and flex. Again, just as much as your ankle will allow. Circling one way, back the other. Coming back to that mid position and really try to lengthen that knee again, feeling that stretch at the back of the thigh. Good. And coming back to that start position. So we work these bottom muscles a lot as well. So crossing the right leg over the left knee. Now try and get your hands behind the thigh. Again, if you can't, you can grab hold of trousers. Breath in as you breathe out. Try and pull the knee in towards your chest a little bit more. And if that feels okay, you can even try and roll towards the side you've got hold of. That stretch in your bottom will come on a little bit more. So breath in as you breathe out, pull it in and across. And again, holding that stretch. Try to get a little bit nearer. Last few. Good. And replace, change into the other side. So this time, left leg over right, pulling that knee in again. And you may find that one side feels a little bit looser than the other. But again, breath in as you breathe out, pulling in. Roll towards the side you've got hold of if you want a little bit more stretch. Holding that. Good, keeping going. Stretch a little bit more. And again. A little bit further if you can. Well done. And bringing those feet back to that start position. So we'll finish off our stretches on the mat by feet together, knees together. Bringing those arms out to 90 again. So this is a great stretch for low back. Breath in as you breathe out, let the knees roll. Hips, low back, head away. And we're going to hold that stretch. So try and keep your knees together. If you want a little bit more stretch, you can drop that top knee over. So you feel the stretch from your knee running all the way up the side of your body, up to that shoulder. So again, breath in. As you breathe out, stretch. Try to keep your shoulder blades on the mat if you can. And just as long as you can feel a stretch, that's great. So holding that position. And then restacking, rolling back up. Opposite side. So breath in. As you breathe out again, let the knees roll, hips, low back, head away. Add a little bit more stretch. You can drop that top knee. Try and keep your shoulders down onto that mat. On every out breath, trying to stretch a little bit more. A little bit more again. Keeping going. Try and get those shoulders down, those knees down towards the mat. And again, a few more. Well done, restacking those legs and rolling back up to that start position. Well done, we'll come up into sitting next. So we now bring ourselves up into sitting just for our last few stretches. So you can either sit like I am cross-legged, or if you find that position uncomfortable, with your legs forward. So get a position that is comfortable for you. So sitting up nice and tall, ribs are down, collarbones wide, arms just resting on the knees. And we'll do a neck stretch. So breath in as you breathe out, ear to shoulder. So we're stretching the muscle down the side of the neck. I want you to keep those collarbones wide, the shoulder blades melting down the back. On every out breath, trying to stretch ear away from the tip of your shoulder. So stretching away. And again, a little bit more. A little bit further. And again, looking down towards your knee now. We're just going to rotate the head down so the stretch moves backwards. And again, trying to lengthen the back of the head away from the shoulder. So breath in as you breathe out, stretch. You should feel that stretch right from your skull all the way down. Good, stretch a little bit further. Looking down towards the floor. Tucking that chin right in. And on the next out breath, rolling the neck up. So trying to roll the lower neck, middle, and then finally your head. Well done. So again, breath in. As you breathe out, opposite side. So ear away. Breath in as you breathe out, trying to stretch a little bit more. You're keeping those collarbones wide, shoulder blades just gently drawn down. Feeling that stretch from all the way down the side of the neck. So breath in as you breathe out, stretch. And again. A little bit further. Looking down towards the knee now, dropping the head down. The stretch will move slightly backwards. Again, you're trying to lengthen the top of that head away from the tip of your shoulder. Breath in as you breathe out, stretch. Good, a little bit further. Looking down towards the floor. Tucking that chin in and rolling your head back up one bone at a time. Giving those shoulders a roll. So we're going to put one hand down on the mat. We're going to stretch up and away. So breath in as you breathe out, stretch a little bit further. And again, a little bit further again. Keep your bottom down onto that mat. Don't try and tilt. A little bit further again. Good, pushing with the hand, changing sides. Again, stretching away. Breath in as you breathe out, stretch. A little bit further. A bit further again. And coming back up, giving those shoulders a roll. So well done. So that's the end of our Pilates video. Hopefully you can keep practicing and improve with time. Thank you.